Minister Shaheed Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the beneficent and merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that He appeared among us in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, the great Mahdi. I further bear witness that He raised the eternal leader of the Nation of Islam and the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the two of them left a divine reminder in our midst in the hard-working Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. It is in their name and their spirit that I greet my people in the greeting words of peace and paradise. Assalamu alaikum. How y'all feeling today? Doing fine as well. Y'all getting ready for the weather change? They say it's supposed to freeze tonight. Everybody got their blankets ready, got their firewood ready. You know, got to stay warm, right? But it's going down. And then next week is going to be hot. So with that comes sickness, comes illness. So make sure that we're eating right, taking a lot of fluids. You know, just taking care of yourself. If you smoke, this would be a good time to stop smoking. It's a good time to stop smoking, man. Keep your body, keep yourself together. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said during this time, only our righteousness will sustain us. So being a right person is a good person, right? We want to go out on the good side of history and being a right person. So today, my subject is, well, before I begin, give Brother Rashad, Sister Aaliyah, Sister Heidi a round of applause for opening up for us. And y'all know next week we will have Dr. Wesley here to deliver a good word, so make sure y'all get the word out so we can pack it up and he'll have some brothers to talk to and some sisters to talk to as well. So I'm just going to, with my subject of American hegemony is going to give you like a prelude into what he's going to be talking about next week. All right? Y'all good? Okay, let's see if this works. Okay. If you hadn't had a chance to read the latest edition of the Final Call, Prayers for Jamaica, as we know, it's been hit with a lot of devastating natural occurrences, and our people are maintaining down there. A lot of aid is coming from around the world, if you hadn't paid attention to that. But that's our people, right? That's our people. When we in need, they trying to figure out a way to come help us, and when they in need, we need to figure out a way to go help them. That's how we are connected. All black people are the same all over the planet. Y'all believe that, right? Yes, there ain't no one distinct feature of us. We all look different all over the planet, but we are all black people, right? We are that one bloodline that permeates throughout the earth. Now, if you hadn't had a chance to read this book, Message to the Black Man, this is a book you should pick up, dust off, and reread it again, because there's some things that we missed the first time we read it. You know, you say, well, how do you know we missed it? Because we looking at each other's actions. There's a real message in there for the black man and black woman of America in particular, but the black men and women all over the world in general, all right? Because we need to do something for ourselves, right? We need to. Do y'all believe that this government gonna take care of us? Then who gonna take care of us? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Then what we gonna do? What we gonna do if we don't believe that they're gonna take care of us? Then what are we doing to prepare for that? They already cut SNAP benefits, right? Some of us are struggling with that. So you see the people all over the city, the food banks, the different organizations. Now we gonna step up. But then we got to have a plan that keeps going on so we don't have to depend on them at all. You understand? So we won't get put in this situation. You don't want to be put in a situation where your back's against the wall. Now you got to fight for real because it's fight or flight. And I'm hungry. And I know we're going to steal. I know we're going to hold some people up. For real, if it gets down to that. Right? That's just what it is. But we want to prevent that by being prepared for this that's coming. It's starting with that. But this American hegemony that we're going to talk about today is dealing with their dominance all over the world of the darker people, us, for centuries. And now we're getting to a point where they're running out of money because they're cutting them off overseas. They're cutting off the resources overseas, and you think the great white hope is going to last forever. And it's destined to die. But we are not supposed to go down with it. That's the whole point. You understand? So let's see if we can get into it. Let's get into it. Your boys with the red, white, and blue. American hegemony as defined is the United States' preponderant influence or dominance over others, particularly in political, economic, military, and cultural spheres. This dominance is often characterized by the ability to set international rules and norms, maintain military supremacy, and project economic power through the extent and nature of the hegemony are subjects to debate and challenges. No one knows that better than you and I, because we have been totally dominated by the American hegemony, by the Englishman, by the American white man. Anybody who is of a lighter hue than us, they've come down, they've depleted us of all of our resources and all of our talent, and now they live like gods, and we still living like peasants, worshiping a false god. You understand? So when they first came down, what did they see? This white man right here, he said, I have traveled across the length and breadth of Africa, and I have not seen one person who is a beggar, who is a thief. Such wealth I have seen in this country, such high moral values, people of such caliber that I do not think we would ever conquer this country unless we break the very backbone of this nation, which is her spiritual and cultural heritage. And therefore, I propose, because he's talking to the parliament, all right? He said, I propose that we replace her old and ancient educational systems. Look at how he make it sound. He make it sound like it's obsolete. He make it sound like what we doing is better than what they doing. And then he's got us saying this to each other. This is how he projected his mind on our mind. He said, I propose that we replace her old and ancient educational system, her culture. For if the Africans think that all of that is foreign and English is good and greater than their own, they will lose their self-esteem, their native culture, and they will become what we want them, a truly dominated nation. So where are we at in 2025 going into 2026? We're a dominated nation. And we fight amongst each other on which way is the right way. That means we are still thinking like Europeans. Because it's a divide and conquer thing. So you trying to tell me that if I like cherry blow pops and you like watermelon blow pops, then we don't like blow pops? We both like blow pops, right? But since I don't like cherry blow pops and you like watermelon blow pops, I can't hang with you. You talk down about me when I ain't around you. This is what kills our unity. You understand? You think they don't know that? Just look at our history. Look at the 60s when they was paying Martin Luther King and all of them to put on the march and all the different things that they did. And they still locked him up. And they still killed him. Look at all the stuff when you look at the history. How did they divide us up? Where are we at on the timeline right now? Where are the young people at on the timeline right now? Because the old people ain't going to build the new nation, the young ones are. Where are they at? They got the old fighting the young fighting the old. They got this rapper talking about this rapper. And both of them going to jail. Look at how they got us, though. Look at how they got us. He said, if we make them think that everything that they had is foreign, then we will totally dominate them. I want you to think about that. So we fighting if you Christian or you Muslim. If you an atheist or you gay or you straight. There's all these different Yakub things set up. This Willie Lynchism all over in different subject matters, right? But the whole thing is to keep us thinking indifferent about each other. What do we have in common? That's where we at. Let's look at this. Y'all all right? That's how we're going to start it out. But God said this in Genesis. He said unto Abram, nor be surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them and shall afflict them for 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterwards shall they come out with great substance, and thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace, and thou shalt be buried in a good old age. This is a major prophecy in the Bible. God having a conversation with Abraham, right? And y'all know Abraham was a black man from the land of Earth, right? Y'all know that whole region over there used to be me and you. These are recent 1900 times, or late 1800 times where it starts to lighten up and you start getting the mulattoes. Or now they call them Arabs and all of this, right? But it's just a mixture between black and white. That's all it is, right? There's only 5 human beings on this planet. Now, so God said he's going to come to us. or there's people who are subjected to another people after 400 years, right? And then so the substance that you're going to get that resurrects you has to come from the Lord of the worlds, right? But if the slave master had taught you that the God of your forefathers, you can't see him until you die, then you don't believe this. You won't see God until you die. But yet, our open enemy sees God every day. Come on. And even when you read the book, he's saying, God said, I'm going to judge. I'm going to come, and I'm going to give you something. So how you going to know when you're talking to God? How you going to know? And then you keep going, and then you go back in the book, and then it says what? That Adam is made in the image and likeness of who? God. Right. And since we are the original people of the planet, we got the strongest genotype, right? Right. So that means that we are in the image of who? God. Right. So if God is coming, how should I expect him to look? Like me. It only makes sense, right? What's going to make him different? He ain't been a slave. His power ain't been dethroned. Nothing has been taken away from him. Matter of fact, he's letting this unalike human being do this to us because he's trying to pull something out of us when you get down to it. But God is a man. Always has been in every religion. He didn't start becoming spook until this orthodoxy. So they wanted to take control of it. You understand? That's when the spook God came in. This is Greek mythology type stuff. But it's all based on us. When they came down and seen us. It starts with because we was bathing too much. We had a different smell. We had these big old pools. They didn't like that because that's why they got the chinchillas. Get them ticks. You know what I'm saying? It's in a book called The History of Dirt. You should read it sometime. It's talking about how the European was dirty and you can smell the stench coming from Europe. And how this fur coat thing came into about. And this chinchilla, where now, we rocking the chinchillas in the videos and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But they wearing them to get them ticks off of them. Just like any animal that grows hair out of tick stuff. You don't bathe. You don't bathe. They would brag about in this book, The History of Dirt, and I'll get back to my subject, how they would bathe once a year. Once a year. They didn't have sewage systems, so they had those umbrellas that they put the sisters walking down the street and the mail on this side because people was throwing feces out the window. This is Europe. This is Europe. Go visit it and you can see. Look at the paved roads. You'll see for yourself. You'll be like, oh, this place gonna flood. All right, let's keep going. In a book called Justifiable Homicide. So now we're still on American hegemony. American hegemony and how it affects us as the black male and the black woman, and especially the youth who we need in this struggle and in this time. According to the dictionary, the term justifiable homicide, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says, means whatever is justifiable is excusable. It is excusable because it is justified by the principle of justice. The term homicide means the murder of one human being by another. Whenever you put these two words together, justifiable homicide, there has to be a body of persons in a deliberative process that determines on the basis of fact that the murder of a human being is excusable by the principle of justice. Since we have been in America, we have been under the domination of a power that during slavery did not have to justify the murder of our fathers. They didn't have any group of people to look at the facts. The slave master had the power of life and death on every black person outside of the principles of justice, with no regard for the life of the black male or female that was being put to death. This is the beginning of our American history. This is our introduction into the European society of a world that they built. So you will go down fighting for this, and this is how they brought you into it? I just want you to think about the logic of this. When our foreparents prayed to kill this devil. With reverence and ferocity. And it was crying. I want you to think about it. I just want you to think about it. They did whatever they wanted to do with us, whenever they wanted to do it to us. And nobody could stop them from doing whatever they wanted to do to us. Period. Period. Don't ever forget this. Don't ever forget this. Because when you forget it, then now you become a slave for real. You see how these Israeli or these Jews, they don't never want you to forget. They don't never want you to forget, but they want you to forget. Because the more you dig into it, you're going to see their hand was on us. So they want you to forget, but they can't forget. They want to murder everybody all around the world, but you can't murder nobody. American hegemony. This is the dominance. And it starts with the way that they train us how to think. So now you become a slave with shackles on your brain, and then you on autopilot. We just keep doing this to each other. On autopilot. On autopilot. Let's look at this. We got a lot to cover, so I ain't going to spend too much time on it. But I want you to think about what I'm saying, and I want you to go study and research for yourself. The period of time right after President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation was called the Reconstruction era, right? Within black people made tremendous progress. The whole idea in the period from those who benefited from our enslavement was to put our people back into slavery and to drive deeper into our hearts the fear that was in us during our 300 years of chattel slavery. Y'all understand that, right? That Abraham Lincoln didn't free us, he emancipated us, right? That's two different words. Only people that can free us is us. That's it. Nobody else is going to do this. He said he was trying to save the Union, but if he could keep us in a position, he would keep us in that position, right? But he was trying to save the Union. They elevated this slavery game. Because now you keep doing that, you going to have somebody to deal with because they had to deal with all these slave revolts. It's only so much you can do to any human being before they start fighting back, right? In the 12-year period from 1865 to 1877, the enemy could see that if the so-called Negro was set free and given the material to build an independent existence, which we were doing, he could become a serious challenge to white supremacy or white superiority. Why? Because we're doing something for ourselves. We setting up the clean glass next to the dirty glass, right? We so afraid now that we don't do nothing for ourselves. Out of fear of what they're going to do to us. That's how discombobulated we are. We throw. If I can say that. We are. But we got to fix this problem though. Because it's a mental problem. So if we look at some of the things that happened during the Reconstruction years, some of these black towns like Evansville, Florida in 1887. Mound Bayou in Mississippi in 1887. Langston City in Oklahoma in 1890. Nicodemus, Kansas in 1877. Allensworth, California in 1908. These are some of the prominent towns, right? But let's look at this though. When you look at the whole map of like our people went to work. They did not sit still like we do, contemplating what we gonna do for them. Oh, let me try this idea. Oh, let me do. They went to work. When you go read on the history back then, if they seen a white man with a hammer in his hand, it was astonishing. They had to draw it. They had to take a picture. They never seen a white man build nothing. Why you think they came and got us? Because we the gods of this. Why you think Benjamin Banneker set it up a certain way in D.C.? Because we the gods of this. You understand? Why you think they pushed that fairy tale Christianity on us? So we would think to do something for ourselves when we die, while we work for him every single day. I want you to think about the hardship that our forefathers went through, because it ain't been that long. Don't think this is like centuries ago. Some of us still got grandmas that's allowed that their mama was a slave. Facts. So it ain't been that long. I don't know if you can really see it, but if you take a picture of it and zoom in it, you can. You can kind of see all of the towns that we built, but in particularly, look at Oklahoma and look at Texas. Most black towns in all the Union. Oklahoma got the most black towns when I was down there. And they were talking about that. You see Bowling. Bowling was big. You know the history of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad? He came through Bowling under the name Evans. running from the feds. You got Brooksville, you got Clearview, you got Gayson, you got Langston, you got Lima, Redbird, you got Brittany Grove, Tulsa, Summit, all of these, Tallahassee, all of these are black towns, right? But then you look at Texas, where we at? Did you know Deep Ellum was one? Look at that. You got Douglas, you got Bear Station, you got M Ticket, you got Freemanstown District in Fort Worth, Houston, Fort Ward, Houston, Independent Heights, Little Egypt. Look at all this. Payton, Texas, Quakertown. All these were black-owned towns after the Reconstruction. So you can't tell me that our people don't know, or we don't know how to do something. That we not social engineers and mechanical engineers and civil engineers. You know what I'm saying? It's just natural for us to be builders. When you go study our history and you look at the walls in Egypt, what do you see us do? Building. You don't see us sitting around smoking blunts and passing it around. You see us building. Am I lying? All you see us doing is building, cultivating the land, farming, building structures, taking care of our people. The woman and the man standing right next to each other. This is in stone. This ain't on somebody's paper. This is what we left us. So in the future, us right now can go back and look at that and be like, oh man, that's how we was. That is us. But they want to make you think that you some light-skinned Egyptian. They just keep playing with words. That's us. Straight up. They don't talk to you about the pyramids under the water. Do they? They don't talk to you about the pyramids in the Sudan. Do they? They don't talk about none of this other stuff. They want to keep it right on the light side. Because there's always a light side and there's a dark side in the south of every country. Wherever the European is ruling. All right. Let's look at this. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan goes on and says, under this so-called emancipation, the free slaves then had to be made to be afraid to make a free step. Those free slaves who would want to make a free step, you understand what he's talking about? A step towards independence, a step towards doing something for yourself, right? Can you imagine if no intervention had happened in our progress, where would we be today? And how would our relationships be with all the other black people on the planet if they never intervened with us like this and stopped this from happening? Can you even imagine? You can't even imagine it, right? That's the whole point. They didn't want you to imagine it. They want you right where they got you, at a dope fiend, a junkie, a hooker, and a hoe. That's exactly where they want us at. How else you gonna kill the black man? We got all these vices and substances that's keeping us from thinking. We need a serious intervention. Mental health, every week, oh, bro. A free step. Those that would challenge their former slave masters by wanting to vote, purchase land, pursue education, or strive to do anything but plantation labor. These kinds of black brothers and sisters will be dealt with harshly by the former slave masters, that there was no deliberative body that would judge our affairs with justice. Right. So if you ask a question, see, the mindset of the white man, what we're talking about now, what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is describing, is in our community, with each other. If we ask somebody a question, we get agitated in our own community, as if you can't ask a question. If the brother don't understand what you're trying to do, he can't ask you a question. That's a slave master mentality. I want you to see how it's been grown in us to where we think that his way of life is the way of life, and it's not. This is not how we dealt with each other pre-colonial period. You got to study it in order to understand. How do you think all them brothers that was on them slave boats talking to each other and didn't even know each other's language? They was talking something that they all knew that he didn't know. Whole different language, right? It's just like when you go to the Asian and get your nail done. You think they don't know, right? Some of them, don't think we got black people that can speak Mandarin. And they listening to him the whole time, or don't know Latin, Spanish. They listening to him the whole time. You know what I'm saying? How do you know they ain't even got the new iPod 4s in their ear? Because you know, they're translating your ear now. So you know exactly what they're talking about. But back then, we had one single language that we all were speaking, even though we had different dialects. So we can communicate with each other. Then we had a system. Why you think he tried to say our old and ancient system has to be eradicated? Because that's the only way they can win, because this is war. They got to cut off the communication. And now they got us all cut off. We divided by wards, hoods, streets names, north, south, east, west, Dallas. We divided all over the place by dumb stuff that don't even matter. The next thing you know, you in that orange jacket sitting in front of a judge. When some of your rappers that's in Dallas are working with the police, and you don't even know it. Therefore, every killing of a black man or woman, every lynching of a black man or woman was excusable. No matter what was done by white people to set the black man at naught was excusable. Because anything that was done to us to maintain white supremacy was in fact an unwritten law. The killing of every black human being during the 300 years of chattel slavery, and even now 150 years up from slavery, at the hand of white people is generally considered excusable. Excusable. We go in front of the judge, he may even be a sister there. But she's so in tune with how she's been taught, we get the maximum sentence regardless. You know? Then after so long, it starts to mess with her psychology. Because now she's seeing her son that she's putting in jail every day. Y'all ain't talked to somebody. We got the most female black judges in the union here in Dallas. Y'all ain't just talked to one of them one time and be like, how you do it? I know I have. I see, how you do it? Where you need help at? Ain't no other intervention that can happen? This is it? Because that's the only way you become a slave. They take away your 13th Amendment. That's it. That's what this is all about. So you gonna get the highest charges. Y'all having a domestic dispute, your wife just want to come and call the police, you know, to kind of keep the peace, have the police come, they gonna try to kill you. That ain't what she called you for. Bruh, we in a situation, ain't we? We in a situation. But if we don't talk about it, how we gonna know it? You know what I'm saying? If we don't discuss these matters that are at hand, how are we gonna solve it? We can't just be silent about this. And we can't be separated by labels and landmass. That's dumb. Because nobody else is doing that but us. That don't make any sense at all. Any sense at all. You think these people over in China who speak Mandarin ain't talking to the Korean? Ain't talking to the Japanese man? I know they all look alike to us, right? But they not alike. You understand? There's different cultures. But they all their origin is black. Y'all know that, right? Yeah, that's right. So let's keep going. I didn't mean to make this into a black and white thing, but every so often you got to be reminded where we at. You understand? And it really is like that, if you understand. The only thing different now is that you got black people acting white, Asians acting white, because his psychology is ingrained in our heads since we little. So they know how do you say it? Not innately. It'll come back to me. They know how to finagle this thing. I'll put it to you like that. They know how to finagle this thing. They know how to use the language so they can be successful. Y'all done heard that before, right? All right. All right, let's keep going. In this book, 100 Years of Lynching, you ever seen this book? You should get it. Google it. You should read it. It's all the newspaper articles of the lynchings that happened. And 95% of this book is Texas. Yeah, and it's nothing but the newspaper articles, right? So you know they would put it out on the news. I mean, this is like the football game. It was a grand advertisement going on. We're going to hang Jimmy today. And everybody show up because they want a finger, they want a toe, they want a piece of his genitalia. They're going to pickle it and put it on their shelf and say that they was here. They didn't ask if you was from North Dallas. They didn't ask if you was from South Dallas. They got one right down here at the fairground in the book called in lynching. They hung a baby downtown Dallas and took pictures of it, an infant. Learn your history and what they have done to us. so you can make a conscious decision in the future. You understand? They know how to finagle us. They know how to put us to sleep. They know if they come, they know how to sweetheart our women to calm them down. They know all of this psychology. They know all of this. They know that you just want recognition because don't nobody care about you. So if I just praise you a little bit, you're going to do whatever I want you to do. Because nobody else is praising you. Not even in your house. You understand? This all affects us. And you need the black man just like the black man needs the woman. You need each other. This is your natural defense mechanism over here. And in his right mind, he knows that this is our natural nation over here. We got to protect her at all costs. But then what happened? The skillful, enchanted European then got in between us and put us to sleep to where we fighting each other now over a job. You understand? Over BBLs. All this dumb stuff. Let's look at this. A white historian wrote, it was almost impossible to convict a white man of a crime against a black person. Hell, it's still like that today. In one Louisiana town, white men were convicted of murdering a black man. After they were convicted, they rose and walked out of the court after the verdict was announced, and no effort was made to stop them. Just think about that one. Oh, I'm guilty? Man, come on, we're going to tear this whole thing up. And ain't nobody stopping. Come on, y'all. In 1890, yeah, Trump he resurrected it, ain't he? He resurrected the great white hope. Yeah, the minister said he's going to take America down in a rocket ship. He said that years ago. You know what I'm talking about? And now we're looking at it live. There's a lot of players involved in this, though. He ain't the only one with cards in his hand. It's a bunch of them sitting around the poker table trying to divvy up our resources that we don't even know we got. Because they done put us totally to sleep. Totally. In 1890, a white man was convicted for the murder of a black man and was fined $5 for the crime. And the judge let it be known that he would not press for collection. That is how little our lives have meant in this society. White people will pick a dog up on the highway and have the dog sit down at the dinner table, but a black human being will be sent to prison for mistreating dogs, while white people mistreat blacks every day, and there is no penalty. Just something to think about. Just something to think about, right? The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan goes on and says, this is American hegemony we're talking about. You can't talk about American hegemony and not talk about how they dominated us. Because if they didn't dominate us, they would not be world leaders. That's how important we are. They would not rule the earth without dominating us. The resurrection that you read about in the Bible, Quran, Buddha, all that stuff is talking about us finally waking up and realizing who we are in a large group. You understand? Everybody's religious text is waiting on the black man to wake up and raise up. That's it. So it don't matter about you gangbanging about who I'm Hebrew, Israelite, or I'm Nation of Islam, I'm all that. Dude, come on, bro. Y'all need to get off of all that. Because that ain't improving our communities. That ain't improving the mindset of the youth. It's perpetuating slavery in a whole nother way. Psychologically. By breaking it up. Who cares what you are? Dude, if you ain't robbing me, you good with me. If you ain't coming up in my house, I ain't coming up in your house, we good. Just practice the principles and we good, right? No matter what you say you are, as long as you practicing righteous principles, we are good. That's how you got to think about it. Don't get caught up in all this stuff. You can be just like our brothers in LA that went all across the country with this stuff. During this Reconstruction period, white America began to engage more frequently in a monstrous form of public homicide called lynching. This ritualized community murder masqueraded as crime fighting. But it was actually a strategy to instill terror in the hearts and minds of the black population. It was done to eliminate economically successful, political, active black people and to generally to reinforce black people's roles as plantation labor. I told you, man, they used to, what is that book with all the pictures in it? Without Sanctuary. Without Sanctuary. Y'all seen that book before? If you haven't, put that in your notes on your iPhone. Look at that one too. Now this is nothing but pictures and postcards of them letting you know, hey bro, we about to hang Jimmy tonight. We need all y'all down here. The sheriff show up, judge show up, everybody show up to watch them hang Jimmy and burn Jimmy. As W. Du Bois stated, that the whites fear more than Negro dishonesty, ignorance, and incompetence was Negro honesty, knowledge, and efficiency. That sounds good, don't it? But what is he really? They just don't like us. So after slavery, black people could be destroyed without harming a white person's wealth and made lynching increasingly popular and widespread. Now this atmosphere is beginning to spread again in America. I want to really make it clear to you today what we are going to face. We are facing as it will increase in days ahead. The typical lynching became no less than a Caucasian celebration, a public bonding across class and ethnic lines, with veteran lynchers egging on the younger ones. White women inciting their men to horrific cruelty, while children cheered on the medieval proceedings, as all revealed in unity to eyewitnesses the dreadful tortures inflicted upon black men and women and children. Just like going to see the Cowboys. This is that picture I was showing you in Dallas. How many of their ancestors is running Fortune 500 companies in Dallas right now? That's hiring you. That's bringing your woman up closer to them so she can make more money for him. And then she telling you ain't nothing because you ain't making more money than me. Divisive tactics to break up the family. They've been doing this stuff. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says lynchings are planned and carried out, not under the fierce compulsion of mob hysteria, but by men who have calmly resigned themselves to performance of a painful but delightful duty, which they deemed as necessary for the good of the society. So it's good for the society when we all afraid. One Arkansas sheriff said that innocent blacks were hung sort of on general principles. The sheriff said that we kill 5 or 6 of them every year and make the others behave tolerably well. This makes you think, don't it? Makes you think. So you got to revisit this every now and then. Just like our Jewish brothers and sisters, we got to revisit it every now and then to remember where we at and what status we on. For real. Instagram and Facebook don't make your status, homie. That's just the Fed agent that you work with. Have y'all seen this trial on, I know y'all probably don't. Let me put it out there. On Julio Fulio? Look. My little brother Wilbur looked at me like, who? Who knows what I'm talking about? Julio Fulio, down in Florida. You know what I'm talking about? All right. Julio Fulio was murdered, right? But, you know, they going back and forth and they beefing. Just classic rap stuff. And then they end up killing each other, right? You see the trial they did on the sister. Y'all see how, well, if you ain't seen it, Google it and look at it, all right? Just kind of follow the trial so you can kind of see what's going on, all right? I think she got manslaughter or something like that, but they're supposed to be sentencing her in December. Even though she didn't have nothing to do with it, but she ain't getting out of jail. And she's young, real young, with a baby. Yeah. But my point is, when I said that this is the Fed agent that you work with, they pulled all her Instagram and then put it in front of her. You know how the prosecutor do. You don't know such and such and such. And she say, I don't even know what you're talking about. Well, on January 27th, did you make a post? Oh, I wasn't talking about that. Look at it. you cannot delete anything on social media. Once you put it out there, it's out there. It ain't on your phone. It's on a whole nother computer. Maybe I need to explain to you how this internet thing works. There's a server that you got to tap into. And then that server taps back into you. You ever send somebody a text message and they didn't get it? Because it ain't phone to phone. It goes phone to server to phone. There's always a middle person in between, right? So all of this stuff you think you're getting away with, you sneaking out on your wife sneaking out on their husband and all that. If they want to pull the record, bro, they can pull the record just because it ain't on your phone. They just call the phone company. Can you, this Shaheed Muhammad, I need everything on him all the way back to 1992. And get it. It ain't no I'm having a hard time finding it. Can you just give me about 4 or 5 days and then we'll have that for you, sir. That's how it goes. Just like that. And then you sitting up in court, something you ain't thought about in years. And they asking you questions about it to lead you into it so you can be found being a liar. Yeah, it's real out here, Wilbur. It's real, brother Wilbur, out here. It's real out here. And they get him. That's why the honorable minister, not the honorable minister lose spare time, but the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said that only our righteousness will sustain us during this time. Because you have to want to be right at all times. That's the only way you're not going to get caught up. Because this right here is a tracking device. For real. Listening to me right now. Yeah, just tell them Allahu Akbar. But it's what it is. I remember when I graduated from Langston, I went back home to Kansas City, and I knew this female's father who had worked for Sprint at the time, all right? And he was telling, this is when you had the flip and the pull out. Y'all remember them cell phones? Okay, the flip and the pull out. And he told me back then, he said, bro, watch what you say on these phones. It's a white dude. Because Sprint's headquarters is in Overland Park, Kansas. He said, watch what you say on these phones, because what I done put in place, and he's one of the inventors of this stuff, they're going to be able to tap you even when your battery's out of it. Because there's always a power supply built in. I said, wow, for real? Man, this is 1999, 2000, he told me this. You ever? Nah, I ain't gonna even go there. Let me keep going. I ain't gonna even go there. Let's keep going. All right, now let's look at this. Now, in the book of Exodus, we almost done, fam. I got about 10 more minutes. In the international version, he says, then a new king to whom Joseph meant nothing came to power in Egypt. Look, he said to his people, the Israelites have become far too numerous for us. Come, we must deal truly with them, or they will become even more numerous, and if war break out, will join our enemies, fight against us, and leave the country. Leave the country. Now you look on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, you start seeing black people talking about they want to move to Ghana. They want to leave the country. You start seeing all of us in the hood, we got babies out of galore. We got a whole nother, this thing ain't stopping no matter what's going on with us, right? So how do you think they dealing wisely with us in this present state? That's something to think about, right? But how about that it's written in the scriptures that this is how they'll handle us? In the scripture of the Bible, Pharaoh saw the children of Israel, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says, multiplying. They were having a lot of babies, and Pharaoh said, come. That's an invitation. Let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply and join unto an enemy of ours and come against us. When Pharaoh said, let us deal wisely with them, he's talking about the children of Israel. When Pharaoh says, let us deal wisely, he is not calling foolish people. Pharaoh is calling people of skill in various fields of endeavor to help him work the conspiracy or the plan, right? Now, this goes all the way down to the doctors and how they study DNA. There's something called pharmacokinetics. Anybody know what that means? How many of y'all on medicine in here? Raise your hand. If you took an aspirin in the last 90 days, raise your hand. All right, let me make it simple. All right, you got pharmacokinetics, right? So when that aspirin hits your stomach, hits that acid, and it detects or whatever a certain DNA, then it's gonna move a certain way through your body. Y'all got me? So our babies can take the same shot as another ethnicity baby takes a shot, and it's going to affect our babies different than it does theirs. That's pharmacokinetics. That's DNA structure. That's a skillful enchanter dealing with us wisely, right? So now we have this huge, enormous amount of autism in our communities, but we all getting the same shots or the same inoculations. Then they'll tell you, because we so foolish we don't read, that your baby can't enroll in school unless they've been vaccinated. That's an outright lie. But they'll put it on the news like that, and you'll believe it. But yet, through the Department of Health, you can get a form and be exempt from all this stuff and send your baby to school. But if you don't know, they're not going to advertise it. You understand? In the Holy Quran, he says the devil only calls and you listen. You don't do no investigation, you just listen. We got to know what's in the best interest of ourselves. You understand? Because there is somebody out here trying to eliminate us all. While we screaming out, I'm this and I'm that, and I'm, you know. There's somebody sitting behind that screen that controls the electricity that we see and all this stuff, trying to eliminate us all, but do it in such a way that don't nobody care. Justifiable homicide. This is American hegemony. You understand? They slick, man. So if the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan stands up and tells you straight up, matter of fact, even when COVID came out, y'all remember the books that came through the MGT and all that about all of the what was going on around the world, how they was curing COVID and what to take and all the trials. We got a whole book on that stuff. You give it to some people, they be like, oh man, you niggas crazy, da 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 da. And then you look at them today, died of heart attacks, got blood clots. All these people that done took shots, they knew that back then. Strokes, all that, at 50. You know what I'm talking about? Getting all these shots, doing whatever they telling you to do. And then you just get one illness after another. Brother said, Dion done had so many surgeries, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But he's doing exactly what he's telling them to do. From the jump. That's just not knowing. You understand? We got somebody on our neck all the time. So he says, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says that Pharaoh says, deal with us wisely. Said he is not talking to or calling a foolish people. He's calling people of skill in various fields of endeavor to help him work the conspiracy or the plan. So even if you got a black person that's a geneticist or whatever, they got to be conscious. Because they just going to go straight off book knowledge, and they not wrong. Because that's how they've been fed. This is skillful. You know what I'm saying? Not really knowing how different we are as human beings. All the way down to the bone marrow, as the most honorable Elijah Muhammad would say. He said we're different than them all the way down to the bone marrow. Our whole cellular makeup is different than theirs. And everyone that came through that chain to get to him. What is the plan, or what was the plan? The plan was to kill all the boy babies. The plan was to kill all the young men of the children of Israel and spare the females. And that's what we see today. We the ones in jail. We the ones in loose stare. We the ones down here at TYC, right? We the ones that go look. Go volunteer and go look. And you're going to see us all up in there creating jobs. Creating jobs. I'm talking about 14 to 17. And then they get shipped off. Go look. Go look. Where Brother Lawrence? He ain't in here. He can take you in there. It's us that they after. It's us that they after. To leave her by herself, and they can utilize her intelligence for them. Because we ain't got enough sense to make this thing work. Okay. He goes on to say, why did they want to kill the males? Because they knew it was time for a deliverer to come forth from the womb of a woman to deliver. The children of Israel from the harsh bondage of Pharaoh. So the order went out, kill all the male children. As you remember in the story of Moses, was floating down the river and he escaped Pharaoh's wicked plan, right? He goes on, there was no longer a need for dire predictions, handwriting, or apprehension about losing a generation of black boys. It's too late. Since the 1960s, with the death of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and the departure of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we have already lost 2 generations of young black men. And we are about to lose the third. Young men, you are different than your parents. There's no question. And your parents have a great fear of what they see in you. What is this fear? Because how strong and fearless we are. Or they are, or the ones coming up, right? They're afraid of what? That you're going to say something to the wrong one and they're going to shoot you. But you ain't afraid that he's going to shoot back? A strong man wants to see a strong child. Straight up. He's going to teach him how to defend himself. Straight up. I don't care who it is. If you got to go out like that, bro, we will salute you out. But you don't go out like no punk. If you right. If you right. Right? This is the fear. Because our black boys don't care. They foolish sometimes, but they don't care. Y'all heard of the Scott Foundation? If you get a chance, you can Google the updated report so you can kind of see the numbers are pretty much the same. That's why I didn't change it. According to statistics in 2006, the report of the Scott Foundation for Public Education, most black young men in the United States don't graduate from high school. Only 35% of black male students graduate from high school in Chicago, and only 26% graduate in New York City. Only a few black young men finish high school, and those that finish, only a few attend college. On a national scale, only 22% of those few black boys who enter college actually finish. You think about this. What does that say for you, young sisters, that are going to college and getting an education, when the black male, who is your natural counterpart, has nothing to do with high school or college? This means he has no job and is being herded into a life of crime or the armed forces. In either case, you young sisters have no security in young black men if this trend continues. And on top of that, you got this thing going around saying you don't need to go to college now, right? You don't, and in some cases, you got to have a plan for one. Let's start there. You got to be able to feed yourself. I'm not saying college is the answer and all of this. It's on you. You know what I'm saying? But if you're going to be a hard worker and do something and create something for yourself, and you already got it, how you going to do it, then you need to do it. You understand what I'm saying? I went to school. I know. Some people make more money than me that didn't go to school. But they had a plan, and they hustled it out. You see what I'm saying? It's just not having a plan, staying at home with your mom is the problem. That's the problem. And you ain't got no plan, and she just sitting around waiting on you to finally get it. That's the problem. That is the problem. And then you getting fed, oh man, we can just be on YouTube and we can make this YouTube money. Boy, come on, that's the biggest Ponzi scheme since the first one. It is, because everybody not making the money like that. You know how they making the money? Getting your fools behind to join their course. That's the money. That's the money right there. Look, I done did all this, now you do it. They selling you a dream, man. It's pimping on a whole nother level. They're selling you a big dream, bro. And you buy into it, you buy into it, you buy into it until the code is lifted up. By then, they got the money because that's what they wanted anyway. So we got to be smart. We got to be wise. We got to protect our children. We got to guide them in a way. We got to encourage them to do what's right. But the biggest thing is they got to have a plan. The biggest fear of a parent is if I leave, then my babies can't take care of themselves. That's the biggest fear. If something happened to me, what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So you want to see them moving, you be like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of them, so it's like I see the ones that can, and I see the ones I got a baby a little bit more. But I got some that can, and I got to put in it. You may have to take care of her. They say that now, you know. But that's still your sister, bro. So don't have her out here like that, or I'm coming back to get you. Let's look at this though. So, however you get educated to do something for yourself, as a black man, you need to be doing that. No doubt. Whether you choose to go to college, or you choose to figure out a trade, or you just figure it out and get this thing going. You got to, but the main, you have to educate yourself so you can get up and do something. Because you can make a lot of money out here if you just look around and see what's going on around you. Money is flowing right now. Right now. It's everywhere. You just got to learn how to tap in. That's the struggle. How do I tap in? But it's money everywhere. All right. The minister says, young black male students have the worst grades, the lowest test scores, the highest dropout rate of all students in the country. American hegemony at its finest. This is the American dream that white folks dream of. Them stats right there. When these young black men don't succeed in school, they are much more likely to succeed in the nation's criminal justice system and are more likely to end up in the penitentiary. So now in the penitentiary, you got AT&T, you got Verizon, you got Metro PCS. When you ain't calling the Indian, you calling Tyrone. You only gonna get 2 people, but they got all this in jail now. Telemarketers. When they send you to prison, they want to know, well, what was his employment like? What did he do? So they can decide where they're going to send us. So they're going to snatch that 13th Amendment away, and now you are what? A slave. Because that's the only thing that's keeping you from being a slave. Us. You have to be, what's the language say? That slavery is abolished unless you are duly convicted of a crime. Then we send you back to slavery. Man, this is a game. You talking about Abraham Lincoln freed us. Well, he made you a simple slave. It was discovered, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says, recently that even when a young black male graduates from a U.S. college, there's a good chance that he is from Africa, the Caribbean, or Europe, but not from the United States. That is not an accident. I want you to see that these young black men are not involved in shooting and drugging and killing as an accident. This has been socially engineered. Black men in prison in America have become as American as apple pie. There are more young black men in prison and jails in the United States, about 1.1 million, than there are black men incarcerated in the rest of the world. Let me give you an idea of population so you can see how drastic these figures are. There are approximately 40 million black people in America. Do you know that people of color around the earth outnumber white people 11 to 1? 4,400,000,000 outside of America. And there are more young black people in America in jail than all black people all over the world combined. American hegemony. They want to completely dominate us and make us a fearful group of people. That's the plan. And they're not hiding the plan or the business plan. It's all in the open. But we won't read and we won't adjust, right? And then sometimes we have these teachers that ain't conscious. They book smart, they real smart and can articulate and got all the numbers and all of that. You know what I'm saying? But they're not conscious and aware of what's really going on in our community, in our population, and how this stuff is engineered from the top. And it's been like that before Britain even released its criminals to come over here and start America. It's been like that they want to totally dominate us. That slide, that is from England. That's not from America. It was the Englishmen that started this colonization stuff. Then it was moved to America. All right? Y'all okay? Okay. All right. Y'all learning something? Or am I just talking? Okay. All right. I'll praise into a lot. All right. Let's keep this thing going. Uh-oh. I got a minute. I went over today, Rashad. This criminalization process starts in elementary school. The black male student as young as 6 or 7 years old being arrested is in staggering numbers, according to a 2005 report called Education on Lockdown. All right? The rest of the world is watching and following the lead of America. Other countries, including England, Canada, Jamaica, Brazil, and South Africa, are adopting American social policies that encourage the incarceration and destruction of young black men. This is leading to a worldwide catastrophe. But still, there is no adequate response from the American community. The worst of all is the passivity, the neglect, and the disengagement of the black community concerning the future of our black children. We do little while the future lives of black boys are being destroyed in record numbers. And guess what? The schools that the black boys attend prepare them with skills that are short-term, unusable skills that will make them obsolete before they even graduate. You go to any school today, they're just trying to teach you how to read and add, all the way up till you graduate. Did y'all see how Amazon laid off all those people? Did y'all see how all the countries, all the companies are starting to take suit? Who they say they was gonna replace them with? AI. So if you go back a week before, where were they at? All the CEOs of America flew to China. And their stuff is automated over there. They showed them how they making money in the dark. How the computers are moving and the robots are moving. They got human robots walking through there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Chinese own it. They own it. That's why they're the largest manufacturers in the world. So, how many of your babies is learning AI? How many? You got one in elementary, middle school, high school, they talk about AI? Huh? Because you're going to have to be an AI manager in the future. Why you think they firing all these people? So when they came back, they let everybody go. Because they done bought these robots from China. But who going to manage them? That's what I'm talking about. So when he says in here that before you even graduate, you get what he says? Before you even graduate, you got skills that are obsolete. And no one is learning about AI. I mean, you see it go across your Facebook feed here, but you ain't learning AI that way. We're talking about learning the language where you don't need an interface to operate it. Learning it. How it works. How does it duplicate the human brain? Because that's what this is all built off of, the human body. The study of the human body. Right? We got to get on it or we're going to be left behind. Dude, we can't. We got too many barbershops. We got enough barbershops. We got enough barbecue stuff. You know what I'm saying? We got to grow up with this thing. We talking about building a nation for people who need toilet paper, or people who need toothpaste, or people who need toothbrushes. You understand? I don't see us being too intuitive or inventive. Like you look on there and you see a dude with a razor blade and a comb cut a dude's whole hair up, fade him up tight. I don't see none of us doing that. Because we ain't thinking. We waiting on somebody else to do it. That means American hegemony has worked. It's the best thing going. And we're winning, right? Meaning the European is saying, we're winning. Because we got all these black boys, all of a sudden we don't know how to do nothing. But then you look at all the inventors, majority of them are black men. You understand what I'm saying? But in 2025, you can't invent pancake mix. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says, in a strange and perverse way, the black community has started to wage a kind of war against young black men in the black community. Has also been engaged as a part of this destruction process of killing off our beautiful young black men. Who are young black women going to marry? Who is going to build and maintain the economies of black communities? Who is going to anchor strong families in the black community? Who will young black boys emulate as they grow into men? Where is the outrage in the black community as the destruction of its young black men? Where are the plans and the supportive actions to change this? Where they at, y'all? They still in somebody's mind, huh? Those are good questions. But where is it at? Because we got to stop it and change it. Or we're going to be in a situation, a bad situation, right? So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says, in the beginning of the end of, is this the beginning of the end of black people in America? What do y'all think? Keep eating them hot Cheetos. It is. Keep eating all this sugar. It is. You understand what I'm saying? Right. We multiplying, but they be eating them Cheetos. I just seen something about all the chemicals that they putting in the chicken. I'm pretty sure y'all done read this before. I'm talking about chicken filet. We talking about McDonald's. We talking about all this stuff. And how we being so overdosed, and how kidney failure is about to be a problem. It's already a problem, right? Right. How heart failure is about to be a tremendous problem, which is already a problem. You understand? All based off of the fast food that we cook, or that we eat. We ain't cooking it. We eat it. And so on the video, it shows the chemicals they putting in it, on all this stuff. They ain't hiding none of this stuff. They talking about how they make it addictive. So we keep running to it. It's the new dope house. Chicken filet. Think about that. So when we say, is this the beginning of the end? I don't believe it's the end. But there's a lot of things we got to get over. For real. Starting with this food. Even the food we buy at Walmart, Sam's, Kroger's. That's a problem. Man, yea, do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and I fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff comfort me. Like for real. Because we in a predicament. We are in a situation, family. Like for real. And I ain't saying I know the answers, but I am very aware that we in a situation. You understand? So let's keep going so we can end this. The list of those who have failed young black men starts with the government, with foundations, with schools, media, black churches, black leaders, and even our parents. In fact, parents today are afraid of their children, yeah? Parents today do not know how to handle what they see in the young men, or the young boys and the young girls that they have brought into this world. You go to any high school, any middle school, majority of the referrals are going to be young women. They're going to be our teenage girls. They fighting over anything. And it's popping off. It's popping. Them principals got a job. For real. Especially if you in our community. You know what I'm saying? Because they doing their hair in the bathroom. They doing all kind of stuff. Ain't nobody going to school. Yeah. You know what they going to school for, right? To make money. Because they all selling something too. They the corner store. Ain't nobody going to school for real. Or I got a hair appointment in the bathroom downstairs. So, yeah, had a whole hookup in there, whole shop, mirrors and everything in the bathroom. Y'all think I'm lying? I'm bearing witness that it goes down in the bathroom at any high school. But this is our mindset, though. Not saying that, she ain't doing right as far as her entrepreneurial spirit. That's beautiful. But ain't no telling what's going on at home that make her that she got to do. She can't even study. She got to come to school to try to make this money, right? So it's a lot of factors involved. As I say, it's not a one pill situation. All right? It's a lot of things that we got to do as a community, man. For real, if we're going to change this thing. Because there's a huge conspiracy against us that we finding out too late. And we trusting them too much. We trusting them too much, family. Have you ever seen this book? He's got a series on YouTube. You can go look at it too. Make sure y'all take a picture of it. This conspiracy that blows the minds of sane people. It is unthinkable that somebody would plan to kill an entire people. It really is unthinkable, but it's real. You couldn't think like that, but I don't. But don't you think that others don't think like that? It's a difference when you know who you are. And the people that want to destroy us as a community, they know who we are. That's the whole issue. For real. They know exactly who you are. Even if you crazy on the street, out of your mind, leaning, they know who you are. They know the DNA molecules that go through your body ain't like theirs. So they keep you doped up. So you'll never know. You just sedated 24 hours a day. You rolling blunts every hour on now. Ain't that something? Then they telling you the new weed is causing strokes. I don't even think my granddaddy had a stroke. And I know he smoked a whole lot of weed. That's the point. That's what I'm saying. So now they make it legal, but it's only legal if you smoke their weed. He's a good one, ain't he? He's a good one. This is crazy. This is crazy. They legalize it in a state, but majority of the people who got weed charges don't get released. Why don't you think about that? I know in Oklahoma, which is a Bible Belt state, I used to hear this when I went to school back in the 90s, that, you know, you get caught with half an ounce, dude, you're going to do about 90 years in Oklahoma. Oh, for real. You ain't getting out. I want you to think about that. And that's what they told me. Because they real strict on that stuff, right? Especially if you black. Now Oklahoma legalized weed. And they ain't letting nobody out of jail. They still in jail. And some of them may have got caught with an ounce. And some of them ain't even pushing big pounds and stuff like that. But they up in there. Thinking they gonna get off because the laws done changed. Nah, partner, when you get a slave, it's hard to let a slave go. Y'all ain't figured that out? Get you one. And you'll know why he ain't letting you go. Find somebody that'll just slave for you for nothing. And do whatever you tell them to do. Have y'all noticed that? That's why when we get out of line with the police officer, ooh, they hot. Because Fido would do exactly what he tell him to do. And he reveres Fido more than he reveres you. And you talking back? Oh yeah, we tasing you, we getting the clubs out, he got substances on him, we pulling out whatever. So we gotta be smart, we gotta be thinkers in this new society, right? We gotta do stuff without letting everybody know about it. You understand? We really gotta have a real serious agenda internally and making that thing happen, right? If we gonna survive this, right? We still on the edge of SNAP benefits. It ain't kicked in yet. We'll see by January if they ain't done nothing. It's gonna kick in. Y'all know what I'm talking? It's gonna kick in. Off that alone. All right? Now, Texas has more prisons than colleges. All right? There's only maybe 4 or 5. There's maybe only 4 or 5 states that got more colleges than prisons. I was just looking at this map this morning. I wanted to put it on the slide, but it was too late. I was already here. Let me make sure. I know California's got more. Oh, here it is. Yeah. The only ones that got more colleges than prisons are California, Arizona, West Virginia, New York, Maine, Connecticut, Pennsylvania. That's it. Everybody else got more prisons than colleges. So the whole flag is red, pretty much. Especially all in our region. From the south all the way up to the north, oh, there's prisons everywhere. So what they preparing for? And plus prisons are on the stock market. So this is an investment in future income, right? Pretty soon they may come get us for even trying to tell you the truth. Which y'all gonna say, I know the Muslims is crazy. No, bro, you next. They just got us first. Just like they getting the mullahs and all that in Palestine and all them other areas, they getting all the smart people first. Then they gonna come after everyone else. Because now you ain't got no guidance. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan keeps telling us that what we see over there is going to happen over here. But you got to look at the strategic chess game that's being played over there. How they playing it up in the media and who they going after first. Then they going to go after the babies, the children, and the women. And if you're watching this thing, then you'll see, right? So, man, the conspiracy to destroy black boys. All praise is due to Allah. So, I pray that y'all learned something today. I pray I was able to convey my subject of American hegemony today. All praise is due to Allah. All praise is due to Allah. And I will leave you as I came before you in the green words of peace and paradise of our Assalamu alaikum. All praises is due to Allah. All praises is due to Allah. American Hegemony. So inshallah, our brother Dr. Wesley will be here next week and